All right. Hello, everyone. Glad to be here. So today we will present lessons which we learned after passing through certifications ISO and SOC2. But first of all, let me represent myself. I am Ilya, Chief Information Officer from 1inch. And we have also Ivan, our Security and Data Protection Officer. And also we have Roxy, a specialist from Zero Shadow. Okay, as you can see, that's the second presentation in a row where Zero Shadow and 1inch partnering. All right, so let me start from a quick question for the audience. Do you have, if you see some words which you don't understand what really means, please raise your hand. Okay, which one? What's that word? Okay, continuity. Anyone else? I saw one more hand over there. No? Okay, so only continuity. Okay, that's very good enough. All right, so yeah, as I said, we got ISO and the SOC2 Type 1 certifications, and why we did that? So first of all, that's the partners and our clients' demand. Pretty much obvious. We are going to traditional finance, and that's why we need to be prepared. We need to have badges which will show our security posture, and so on and so forth. Then that's a path to scalable credibility, right? How we are going to find new partners, how we are going to attract new clients, right? So this certification, not only this, showing that yes, we are ready, we are compliant, and so on. And last one but not least, our original idea was pretty ambitious and enthusiastic. That do this stuff right. In terms that not only have a check marks that, oh, we are compatible, we are compliant, right? But also have that really in our company. Have everything what's being kind of pushed in ISO and SOC2 into DNA of our company. Okay, so that's our short history. We spot demand in 2023. We spent the whole year of 2024 for transformation of our infrastructure, how we are building CI/CD, DevOps, and so on, identity management. So that took pretty much a while for us to be there. And in 2025, we proceeded with the process transformation. And also we already had, obviously, internal and external audits. And our upcoming goals is by 2026 do have a second part of a SOC2 Type 2. To be honest, that's probably will be a little bit challenging for us because ISO and SOC2 Type 1, I would call it theoretical one. And for SOC2 Type 2, it will be much more harder. We will need to bring much more evidences and so on and so forth. And also in the next year, we are going to proceed potentially with other certifications which are interested for our clients. All right, so who was doing our internal audit and external audit? So first of all, thank you to Zero Shadow. Right, they not only did our internal audit, but also they helped to find a very good external auditor, Prison Security. All right, so the first thing which you should know that to get there, to be mature enough, that's a multi-dimensional journey. Okay, so that's not only check marks. You should be mature enough on all listed directions, right? So you should, for example, work on the ownership. At the beginning, when everything startup like, everyone owns everything, right? But once you grow, there should be clear vision who is accountable for what. Documentation, the same. When you start, documentation in people mind. And probably just a little bit in the code. But once you grow, you need to onboard more people. You need to be sure that everything is documented correctly, that everything consistent with each other. So you should become mature enough from documentation perspective, grow from a tribal knowledge to formal and ideally to automated knowledge. Next one, of course, that's the processes. Right? At the beginning, it's ad hoc processes. Somebody just pushing somebody else, hey, go and do something. And there is no processes at all. No processes. And once you go, you should understand what's repeatable things you are doing from everyday life and make sure that these things becoming your process, that you understand how it works, that you can bring more people into your team and they can do from day one, okay, probably day two, what's needed, what's requested from them. Next one, that's the tools. Your tools should also become mature enough, right? At the beginning, every developer might use whatever he wants, right? And once you grow, it's becoming a problem, right? Because how you will transfer from one developer to another developer, how other person will understand that, how to, let's say, connect dots with each other. So you should also work on a proper tool set for your company, and sometimes even kill particular tools which are not being used. For example, in our company, we killed Notion in favor of Confluence. And work on your innovation, how you do innovation. Right? At the beginning, that's something, cool idea came to the mind, and overnight I wrote the code. Right? But in reality, in a business-oriented company, right, idea should go through some validation, should go through some ideation, right? And you might have subject matter experts involved and so on and so forth. So you should also work on how you innovate to make that sustainable. All right, so quick check. On the left side, you can see some phrases of hackers, right? Please count +1 if you feel that you're more on the left side, right? So for example, if you believe that it works, ship it more closer to you right now, that's +1 for you, okay? If you believe that everyone contributes closer to you, another +1. Okay, so next one, documentation slows us down. Access is temporary. I will clean it up later. Telegram message equals approval. Telegram or Slack or whatever. Security is everyone's jobs, so it's fine. Right? Now let's count. Who has 6 score? 6. Okay, no one. 5. Wow, I'm impressed. Okay, 4. I'm also impressed. 3. Okay, probably 1 person. Okay, 2. All right, and 1. Good. Okay, so everyone else, I assume, just too shy enough, right? Just don't want to acknowledge that, yes, it's indeed 6. All right. So here you might have see some particular terms which you should become professional of on your way to maturity, right? At the beginning, it might look like a very alienated words for you, but indeed that should become, part of your DNA. Something like vendor management, right? How you're onboarding partners, how you're onboarding new vendors into your company. Data protection and privacy, very serious thing once you have billions and billions of dollars going through your startup and you indeed working with people data, right? Security incident response plan. The same, right? It's better to be prepared ahead of a time while doing that on a hawk. Then, I don't know, risk assessment, risk management, right? The same type of policy acknowledgement, and so on and so forth. So we went through all these things, and yeah, on the path to maturity, it's necessary to learn all of that. All right. So as you might, lesson number 1, as you probably already understand, that the key point for maturity, that's a culture, right? Culture is very, very important. Once you grow, you will feel it on your fingers, what that really means. But what also means that culture defined by your founders, right, and early employees. And once you grow, changing a culture becoming exponentially harder. So please pay attention to that. And if you feel that your company is growing and something not going right, it's probably due that, change that, fix that right now rather than fix it later. Later it will be much more harder. Right? So key point here is that leadership defines culture, and you should do understand what your actually culture means. It might be, I don't know, as in our case, we still doing hackathons. Okay, we have per year around 8 hackathons, but we put a corresponding processes around that to do that in the right way, in a manageable way. All right, next one, very, very important. That's the ownership must be explicit, not implied. Right? When you start, everyone responsible. But once you grow, it means that nobody is responsible. Nobody, everybody kind of mentally pointing out to another person, oh, that's that guy responsible. But no, you should be pretty much clear who is responsible for what. Who is doing CI/CD, who is doing code testing, and so on and so forth. All right, and next, like a real lesson learned, that's Telegram. And not only Telegram, so but Telegram primary, right? Because in the crypto, Telegram became de facto standard, right? But as you might see, it's hard to manage that in an enterprise way. For example, you have a secret chats, secret groups with your clients, with your partners, and then somebody quit your company. And you have to manually delete that person from all of those groups. And the same with onboarding, right? Somebody coming in, how to bring that person into all these Telegram groups. So we, together with Synapse, build Telegram bot, which made us compatible with identity management. In our case, that's Okta. We are using Okta. All right, and probably Ivan.
Yeah, that would be me. Hello, Ivan here. So I'm going to talk about policies, but not configuration policies, but the documents that we usually go next, yes to all, apply all, goodbye, and haven't read them at all. So it was a bit different because in order to do them, you need to have highest management buy-in from them to read the policy owners to understand them, to know what they're putting inside, and then. But let's first talk about the policies. So it's actually a document, high-level document, where we actually say what do we want to do and why do we want to do whatever we want to do. And now, once we have that...
Can I jump in quickly?
Please.
So policies is like a smart contracts, but for your company.
Okay. Good. Yes. So we need to have policies in place. We need to align with the policies, and not only if we don't have them documented and followed, it actually means we don't have even the structure within the company. Next slide, please. And not only the policies, but we also need to have additional documents, which are guidelines, procedure that says who does what and in which way. So these are also the really important thing that we need to have it, because we need to write it down and we need to document it. And the thing is, where we think we had advantage on compared to other companies is that we had a knowledge management team. So knowledge management team was able to gather all of this information, gather all of this data that we have, and manage it properly, so it was much easier and faster for us to move during the certification itself. So how did we actually did it? So we mapped the current state, then we educated the people, raised awareness, what do we need, what they actually need to do. Of course, there is a pushback always, why do I need to do the papers? I like to do what I'm doing, I don't want to do that. But okay, at the end, with the buy-in from the highest management, this was overridden at the end. And so we had a knowledge management team who supported in all of this. We enforced it, and right now we are going to the SOC2 Type 2, where all of this is continuously documented. I think that's it. Okay. Sorry, Rox is next. Sorry, Rox.
Thank you, everyone. All right, compliance accelerates maturity when done right. Very bold statement. The first thing we need to understand is, what is compliance? Compliance is the adherence to laws, regulations, your contractual obligations to your clients or as a service provider. The second step is to understand what compliancy is applicable to me, from jurisdictional regulations to jurisdictional legislations, and to obviously your contractual obligations. So the first step there, when you start all of that and you understand that, is we need to look at automation. Automation to scale. We've got to have that at the back of our head. So while we're doing all of this, we need to understand, okay, what do we need to automate? What are the repetitive tasks? So when you look at compliance, and they say it reveals invisible weaknesses, it just ties into risk management. Because when you know what your compliancy applicability is, then you set parameters. And when you set parameters, you are able to identify the risks associated, or the, as they say here, the failures before they actually happen. The second part is, and this is a myth buster. So when I go into a lot of companies, I ask them, who's in charge or who's responsible for security? And the question that or the feedback that I get is the head of security, or the CIO, or the CISO. But that is not correct. So, security is a shared responsibility. So we do it, it's an inclusive, it's an inclusive game changer, basically, in the company. So every single person in that company basically contributes to security. And then we talk about build continuous accountability. So it takes you from reactive to proactive. So now you're not firefighting, you're fireproofing, because you're able to identify risks before they happen. You are able to identify incidents before they occur. And that is what compliancy is, and that's how it accelerates your maturity. Next slide, Ilya. Right. The auditor is not your enemy. So I use many caps, and one is an auditor's cap, and I'm hopefully not a scary looking person. So what the auditor does is it takes your intent, which is your policies, and the controls that you've implemented. So basically what you've operationalized. And we as auditors validate that your controls are what they are. So when it says that they validate what actually works, it takes your existing controls that you've implemented, that's on paper, and looks at it in a practical environment. So they say accelerate maturity by forcing clarity, accountability, and continuous improvement across teams. It just means that now everybody's accountable. We've got responsible people in each area. So it is I would say a family-orientated mission in terms of compliancy. And that ties into your governance, risk, and compliance.
Thank you. All right, probably I will skip a little bit payoff just in sake of a time, but yeah, we are maturing more and more, and hopefully from year to year it will become. So what's key takeaways? First of all, compliance is not bureaucracy, right? If you think that it's bureaucracy, that means that, yeah, you should take a look more closely. Culture shift is the hardest. I hope that we explained that that's really culture, that's a key point there. And then DeFi actually compatible with enterprise standards. They not contradict, they are compatible, right? And that, from our perspective, lead to sustainable innovation. All right, any questions?
Hi, wonderful presentation, thank you. You mentioned you're moving from Notion to Atlassian as an example of different software. I will call them like Web2 in this example. What would be the examples of Web3 softwares that you had to move in order to comply with this sort of standards?
Sorry, what?
What sort of software in Web3, so like the CI/CD processes or monitoring infrastructure, do you have examples of Web3 tools that you had to move in order to achieve this kind of standards?
From Web3, to be honest, I don't remember that we removed something, but we are very, very picky to onboard new. Oris, do you remember somebody? Hypernative. Oh, yes, okay. Yeah, thank you.
One more question.
So what kind of advantages does it really give you to go through all this painful stress it is to get to be compliant? And if you enjoy that, are you going to the maximum pain and getting DORA as well? DORA compliance.
Yeah. Yes, a very good topic, DORA. Yes, that is something in the future, but not at the moment in terms of what the applicability is in the market. In terms of continual improvement and what we do, yes, they do enjoy it. The company has, 1inch has embraced compliancy. It's not a one and done. It's continual improvement. We've transferred business knowledge across to the whole team, so it's everybody getting involved in it. So yeah, I think you guys are enjoying the journey.
I do. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Any other questions? One more.
Well, thank you for the talk. I think to founders and a lot of early teams, we obviously know this is important and nice to have, but the question is when and how much money we need to spend on it. And especially if clients are not asking for it, partner are not asking for it, and government is not asking for it, then how much money do we spend on this and why and when?
Yeah, absolutely.
You want to light again?
So it's not about, you can't just put a number on it. Your auditor's cost to get you validated, yes, there's a set cost, but when it comes to implementation, it depends on the size of your organization, the complexity of your platforms, the people, the processes, the technology.
The
so
maturity.
It's all dependent, yes, on your maturity posture. So at Zero Shadow, we meet you at your current state, and we take you from there. We don't just say it's a blank slate or we use a paintbrush across every client. It's dependent on the client's organization. So if you want to, just come and chat to us.
Yeah, just to add, if you're interested in numbers, so if you want just to have a check market, ISO and SOC2, yes, you can do it like a really, really cheap, but that will bring you like literally nothing. It will give you just these badges, and every next, let's say, audit, major audit, can reveal that it's that's just a how to say, just a picture. Okay, so in our particular case, let's say if we would want just check marks, it's small amount, but we spent, I would say, pretty much big amount of money, like a 6-figure for adapting, for bringing required systems, to bringing required integrations, to bring required companies as a partners, and so on and so forth. So that's again, that depends on your appetite.
Actually, you can spend all your money for certification, and you can always upgrade your certification. You can spend all of your profit, and you can still find a few more holes that you can fill. So the budget is not there. It's important that you mature, so you have a team that knows what it's doing, that is patching what needs to be patched, that is compliant, and that's it, basically.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think we have a really